Hello folks, this is a follow-up video from the previous B-flat flute comparison video that I did last year. The reason I've done it is because I was waiting on the new Wicks flute coming out, and here it is. I say new, I've had this now for about 6 months, so I just haven't had a chance to do anything with a comparison online, and one of the makers kindly phoned me up today and reminded me that I forgot to put this on, so sorry Paul, sorry Kenny. Yeah, it's very similar to the old Wicks. The looks of it, you probably wouldn't notice much difference. Apart from the end here, you'll see, again, I pointed this out on the previous flute, the Milliard Molam, which again took this design from the old Crown AZs. It's just that they set the ring back further, and there's a bit of a notches cut in here so the ring doesn't come off, whereas I know in some flute makers the rings do come off. But I like this little sort of addition to it, just sets it off a little bit than other flutes. Now I bought this as a three-piece, the Crown three-piece with the tunable head, but I also bought the straight piece, the single head, just because I'm a geek, you know what I mean, I like that sort of thing. African blackwood, nickel silver, a lot more polished though than previously. It just seems to keep it shine a lot more. I haven't polished this one in over a week, so it does need a good polish. But the key work, you'll notice, is exactly the same as previously. I think they might have changed this slightly differently. I've actually loaned my other Wicks flute out, so I can't even check that. But it just seems a lot smoother to play, a lot easier. Normally you get a wooden flute, it takes you a couple of months to blow it in. And that's the same with any wooden flute, but this just seems it's smoother, it's a lot easier to blow in than others. The springs are different underneath as well. You can't really see, but they're very they're like a work of art, really, the way that they go in. They're not going to break ever. You know, you need to throw them against the wall to break them. They're not like the little leaf springs we used to have on most flutes. The D sharp spring and the F natural and the G sharp key spring, they're all these like a nappy pin, the stainless steel rods. Again, they're just more efficient than the previous springs that we used to have. And these that sort of Wicks are getting synonymous with them now. These clarinet pads might not be as flashy and as soft as the French pads, but they're a lot more forgiving when you're oiling your flute. You get a little bit of oil in these, it's not going to do too much damage, although do avoid it at all costs. If you get them on the fine French leather pads, you're going to ruin them completely. So these are definitely a lot hardy, these pads, than other ones. So I'm going to play Lily Bolero on this. Something else I just wanted to say about the Wicks. I've seen it, I've heard it. People saying, "Oh, don't go for a wooden flute because these metal flutes are they're a lot louder than wooden flutes." Now, I'm a bit annoyed about this because I've got metal flutes, I've got wooden flutes, I've got the plastic, the ebonite, the Delrin flutes, and I can't really tell any difference. And I have tried. If you look on, I'll probably put a clip on the end of this. A little link that you can click onto and look at the comparison between Wicks and Clippy Ray, both decent flutes. You can hear some tuning differences as I'm playing each note, but certainly the other one isn't higher pitched than this, and this isn't higher pitched than it. They're both the same. A lot of bands struggling to try and get a higher pitch out of the B flat flute. It's B flat. If you go higher pitch than B flat, it's going to be B. Do you know what I mean? If you go higher than B, it's going to be B sharp or C flat, and then it's going to be C, and then it's going to be C sharp. So it is what it is. You try and squeeze, it's going to throw the bottom octaves out. The more you make that higher, the more you're going to make that look out from this design, unless the holes are re-drilled, and the body will probably have to be rebored in a different size. So it's a B-flat flute. This is part of what we play as our culture and our heritage. Let's not try and take the piss by trying to encourage the makers to squeeze a little bit louder out of it. If you want louder, make your tunes louder, write them out in a higher key. Instead of having the sash as do it like do you know what I mean? Just push the key up and you get louder. Or get more fluters in your band and less drums. That's only my opinion anyway. Anyway, that's the new Miller Wicks. Enjoy.